The current president of the United States was out on the West Coast. He's raising some money. He also did some town halls. Listen to President Obama here. He's in Santa Monica, and he's talking about the Republicans. He knows how this works. In 2 presidential elections, President Obama received 2/3 of the Latino vote. He says Republicans have a problem when it comes to immigration, but they don't seem to want to solve it.
It's anybody's guess how Republicans are thinking about this. If they were thinking long-term politically, it is suicide for them not to do this, because the demographics of the country are such where you are going to lose an entire generation of immigrants who are looking around and saying, you know what, that party does not seem to care much about me and my life.
He's right about the demographics. It's hard to see the Republicans competing at the presidential level, never mind in 2 years, but then in 4 years after that and 4 years after that. But what about himself, where he talks about you have this group of people saying, you know what, the party doesn't seem to care about me and my life. There's a lot of Latino frustration that he has repeatedly promised either to submit legislation or take executive action, and they've got nothing.
And this is a worrying thing for some people in the White House, a lot of Latino advocates outside of the White House who say, you know, we've been with you, Barack Obama. We believe that you were going to push immigration reform through the Hill. You promised us this. You promised us you would take executive action, and now we're left with nothing. So while there may have been a proclivity towards Obama from Hispanic voters and Democrats for a long time, maybe that's not going to be the case. Now, Democrats will argue that on the other side, Republicans don't have a record to stand on there either. But there is this sense that maybe Latinos have been taken for granted by this White House.
Now, I don't think that Speaker Boehner, and perhaps we'll see what happens, Majority Leader McConnell, if the Republicans were to take the Senate, are going to take their advice from President Obama. They're not going to ask him for, you know, what's best for the Republican Party. But is there any indication in this midterm campaign that they will move on immigration reform? Because the president is right about the demographics, whether they like it or not, whether they like it coming from a Democrat or not. If you look at the last 2 presidential elections, it's hard to see the Republicans as a presidential party if they don't fix that.
No, he's clearly right, and I think if you put most members of Republican leadership in a polygraph, they would agree that he's right. Of course, they're not putting themselves in a polygraph, and to the extent they've moved on immigration in this election, they've moved to the right, that they've suddenly revived amnesty bashing, border control in their television ads, in their debates, going after Democrats, raising the prospect that lack of immigration controls is going to bring Ebola and ISIS to our shores. That's not the rhetoric the party is going to need in 2016, but it is rhetoric that's been pretty effective this year.
So unlikely. We'll see what happens. Sometimes, you know, the morning after an election, everything changes, but Alex is dead right. The Republicans moving more to the right as we get closer to Election Day.